And Prince Harry has made a series of dim-witted boasts this year about his excessive drug use, including this in his tone-deaf book, Spare. But those claims could now land the runaway royal in hot water in the US. Conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation is demanding Harry's visa application be released to the public.
Prince Harry's been on a roll lately, and not in a good way. He seems to have this uncanny ability to torpedo himself every time he opens his mouth or publishes something. First, there was Spare, his tell-all memoir. Whether you read it or just skim the headlines, you'll remember the shockers. 25 Taliban fighters taken out like he was reporting cricket scores, endless therapy talk, and, most damning in hindsight, his casual bragging about drug use.
So they can discover if the Duke of Dope declared his drug use before entry into the country. If Harry is found to have lied on his visa form, then he could face deportation from America and be barred from applying for citizenship in the future. Well, top royal biographer Tom Bower joins me now. So, Tom, has Harry just shot himself in the foot?
Well, I think so. I mean, one hopes so in a way, because it'll really discomfort him. I mean, the Heritage Foundation is a really serious right-wing group, but their 7-page submission to the government lists all the reasons why the government must instantly release Harry's visa applications and the rest. And, of course, his problem really is that he's got a title which, again, counts against him in America. But having boasted so much about taking all these drugs, and having boasted that he also shot the Taliban, 25 of them, and then this extraordinary admission of his inconsequential therapy and all the rest of it, we're dealing really at the moment with Harry, I think, looking pretty sad, even sadder than ever before. I think really what is really troubling for me is that his father, King Charles, could even consider wanting Harry to come to the coronation. Here is a man now under investigation in America for having been a serious drug abuser and user, a man who admits he needs therapy all the time, a man who is abusing his title all the time, who's capitalizing on his family's misfortunes. And I think what King Charles's problem now is that many people in Britain will think he's in charge of a madhouse.
Yeah.
You've got Andrew on one side, Harry on another side. Where is the sanity in the House of Windsor? And that is the real problem, is he's very close now to the coronation. And I think respect will fast drain away from the king if he lets Harry get anywhere near Westminster Abbey.
Well, of course, because these campaigners obviously looking at his visa, and we don't know where that will lead. The strange thing is, though, Tom, when it comes to the coronation, still we get all of these polite noises from the House of Windsor, even suggestions that maybe Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet should get a role in the coronation. What do you make of this?
Well, I just think it is all a reflection of King Charles's indecision. He cannot decide what to do. He wants both a modern ceremony and he wants the ancient rituals. He wants something that appeals to the public and especially to the young who are not real royalists and the diversified community who may be now aggressively against him because of all the racism allegations. So I think what you're seeing really is confusion and mess. And this is a ceremony that's been going on for 1,000 years. What on earth is he playing at? And the Heritage Foundation, in my mind, this investigation of Harry's visa, the conditions in which he was let into America, the supervision he may need to be under, just reflects King Charles's problem. How on earth can he put the interest of himself as a father and how Harry behaves above the institution of the monarchy and the country? And I think we discussed this last week. It's not getting any better. No. Because the leaks about his children having a role, when he hasn't even said that he's going to come to England for the coronation, seems to me just showing utter confusion in Buckingham Palace at the moment.
Cocaine, weed, psychedelics. Harry spilled it all like he was chatting with a mate at a bar instead of writing a book that will be dissected worldwide. At the time, people were divided. Some thought, wow, he's being raw and honest. Others thought, oh, this is going to come back to bite him hard. Guess what? The latter group was right, because now In the real world, bragging about drug use has consequences.
Indeed. Now, look, Tom, talking about another big figure who you have written on, of course, your widely acclaimed biography of Boris Johnson was called The Gambler. You might argue that tomorrow's Privileges Committee will be the biggest backgamble of his political career because it may determine whether he ever returns to number 10 Downing Street. Now, you obviously closely followed the man for some time. Do you think he's going to thrive under this pressure or collapse?
Well, I think he'll thrive because he loves the battle. I've read very carefully his 52-page submission. Of course, it's very impressive and it does demolish, to some extent, the committee's credibility. No doubt about that. On the other hand, we haven't heard what the other questions are going to be. And if he makes a mistake tomorrow, they'll have him for garters. They'll eat him up. So can he maintain his cool and rational thought without wandering off? It is a battle for his life. It is a battle for his reputation. But to be honest, he brought it on himself. But on the other hand, I did sympathise with him when he says, number 10 was a hothouse, we were working close together, the official photographer was at these so-called illegal parties. His mistake was to deny anything to the House of Commons. He should have said, I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure, we'll have to look at it. He was just so cavalier, and that is where, it's like the same with Chris Pincher when he denied that. He didn't think before he spoke. I hope he does that tomorrow for his sake, but he's got a challenge tomorrow for sure.
He does have a challenge, but at the same time, he always seems to get through these tough moments, doesn't he? That is one of the stories of Boris Johnson's life, really. Is this just going to end up being another one of those chapters of, it was a tough moment, but actually he came through in a way that other politicians probably wouldn't be able to?
Well, he didn't come through the challenge from 60 Ministers, which forced his resignation, and he gambled there and lost. And I don't think at that moment he really realised how tough the odds were. I think tomorrow the odds...
He never thought Partygate would finish him off.
No. And he didn't think the lie about Chris Fincher would finish him off. The problem is that there was a whole succession, starting off, of course, with Owen Paterson and all that stuff. Tomorrow he's got to reassert himself as a Prime Minister. He can't be the chaotic journalist. He's got to show magisterial, real authority. He's got to be the master of the brief. He's got to show that he knows more than the committee and turn it on them that they are the vindictive persecutors. If he can do that, he'll win.
Which I believe they are.
But he's got to show it tomorrow.
He does. But I agree with you, having read all 52 pages today myself too. I thought it was incredibly impressive. It was a very well put together argument. But yes, you've got to hope. And we're told, by the way, that he has been rehearsing for hours and hours on this, something he never got the opportunity to do as Prime Minister. You've got to hope he's going to have the master.
He's got a huge legal team. I mean, it's much bigger than Panic. There are about 5 or 6 top-rate lawyers going through it with him. But he's got to, in the end, turn it against Harriet Harman and Bernard Jenkins and say, you are changing the rules. You're the people who are persecuting me and not giving me a fair chance. And let them have to answer for themselves. If he can do it, he may get away with it.
Here's where it all lands. 4 years. Harry has managed to skate by on his royal status and his tragic backstory. Even when he walked away from the firm, he still traded on that royal identity for money, fame, and influence. But this visa issue? This isn't about family feuds or tabloid headlines. This is legal territory. Cold, hard, bureaucratic law. And law doesn't care if your grandmother was the Queen of England. If the investigation moves forward and it's found that Harry lied, the potential consequences are huge. Visa revoked, deportation, barred from citizenship. Even if it doesn't get that far, just the fact that this is being discussed publicly damages his credibility. And if nothing happens, well, then the U.S. government risks looking like it plays favorites with the rich and famous. Either way, this is bad news for Harry. So, where does this leave us? Prince Harry is caught in yet another self-inflicted storm. His drug confessions in Spare may have been cathartic for him and lucrative for his bank account, but they've opened a legal can of worms in America. The Heritage Foundation is pushing hard, Tom Bower is gleefully piling on, and King Charles is left looking indecisive and weak with his coronation looming. The big theme here is accountability. Harry's built his post-royal life on the idea of truth-telling and breaking free from privilege. But now, he's facing a situation where he might be exposed as benefiting from the very double standards he claims to hate. For once, the drama isn't just royal gossip. It's potentially a matter of U.S. law. And that's a game Harry may not be able to charm his way out of.